The world of Grand Theft Auto is a gloriously ridiculous and overly violent one that we all love to indulge in on various levels. Outside of throwing the rulebook out the window and letting you run amok in a blur of pedestrian abuse and vehicular destruction, another huge draw is embodying a character that is contributing to your on-screen actions by way of play-by-play commentary or an otherwise hilarious quip. As the series has evolved and video games have begun to be taken just as seriously as films and other media, more questions tend to get levied at the portrayal of these characters, yet with the newest installment, GTA 5, Rockstar managed to create 3 very different characters, one of which is the perfect middle finger flailing catch-all answer to those sort of questions. Going forward, we're sure Rockstar will continue to set new benchmarks and push every boundary they can, hopefully eventually creating a female protagonist to balance the testosterone-fueled previous installments. But for now, let's look back at the ones we've got. I'm Rich from What Culture, and this is GTA ranking the 10 best protagonists. Number 10, Claude, GTA 3. For many, the protagonist of GTA 3 is actually one of their favourites, due in no small part to the genius of making him mute, thereby allowing all of us at home to inject our own reactions and dialogue into the game's many scenes of interaction with a city full of gangsters. It actually didn't even dawn on you that Claude didn't speak, due in no small part to Rockstar's exemplary scriptwriting and delivery that effortlessly carry the many one-sided conversations with great pace. Said mutism also allowed Claude to be the unremitting badass we all imagined him to be, a silent weapon of debauchery existing in a constant state of rule-breaking, going from jacking all manner of cars to blowing up triad vans to taking part in any number of random rampage missions. His silence did away with the more modern day discussions on motive and place within the game world, and we were free to indulge in the first 3D Grand Theft Auto all the way back in 2001. Number 9, Luis Fernando Lopez, The Ballad of Gay Tony. GTA 4 remains a divisive entry to the series, and the point in which Rockstar took the franchise in a slightly more serious direction, leaving the fantastic Saints Row series to take the ball of total insanity and run a few pitch lengths ahead in the race. Whilst 4's main character Nico will make an appearance later, the inclusion of Louis on this list is down to Rockstar releasing 2 downloadable packs that let all of us indulge in our crazier sides once again. Fed up of dying because you went too fast and flung yourself through a windshield due to the game's ice skating driving controls? Well, how about the return of parachuting to ease those woes? Although the animation set was still kept the same for Gay Tony, Louis' skin was still brilliant fun to be in, and returning to GTA 4's take on New York City with more than a hint of neon underbelly, this remains one of the best DLC packs in gaming history. Number 8, Victor Vance, Vice City Stories. Onto one of the portable entries in the series and the character of Vince Vance, brother of fan-favourite side character Lance Vance from Vice City and the pilot of the helicopter that can be seen during the opening cinematic where a deal turns sour. Vince's military background made him an all-round leaner fighting machine than the chubby Tommy Vercetti, and bombing around Vice City investing time in the new property management mechanics really injected new life into the already characterful city. With a take-no-shit attitude and a contrasting mentality to that of the overblown Lance Vance, Vic was a great main character that was thought initially to be a risky venture due to his demise at the beginning of Vice City, and one we could believe would be up to his eyeballs in questionable dealings with more questionable people. Number 7, Franklin Clinton, GTA 5. The characters of GTA 5 are some of the best written yet, and though later entries on this list play more to a new direction Rockstar seem to be taking in giving their characters adequate motive and a sense of place within this ever-chaotic world of GTA, Franklin is the last to be cast from the mold of old. Feeling like the least developed of the 3, alongside family man Michael DeSanta and the tornado of foul language and faux philosophical garblings that is Trevor Phillips, Franklin comes across as a light version of San Andreas' Carl Johnson. His opening missions resemble the fetch quests and working man driving missions of old before he begins to work for Michael, and his world expands in more ways than one. However, it remains that by game's end, he's still something of a yes man, and someone who finds himself throwing his arms up for the sake of going along with whatever harebrained scheme his cohorts have thought up, rather than steering the ship himself. Number 6, Nico Bellic, GTA 4. As Rockstar took the franchise into more serious realms and attempted to tell a story with more weight and purpose than that of San Andreas' gangster turned high roller, it also led into the discussions surrounding character motivation and placement within the game world. Now, instead of somebody like GTA 3's mute protagonist who would happily gun down a busload of innocent shoppers if the price was right, we now had Bellic, who was constantly talking of leaving the old life behind him. Whilst you could argue that Rockstar weren't about to completely change the gameplay formula, it would be another 5-year wait until GTA 5 would perfect the balance between believable player agency and that of a character's existence within the game world. Bellic does have one of the most badass missions in the entire series though, when he takes on an entire warehouse full of armed goons with hardly more than a pistol just to rescue his brother Roman, all the while yelling abuse and Scarface style insults to all within earshot. Number 5, Johnny Klebitz, The Lost and the Damned. The second of the DLC packs for GTA 4, Lost and the Damned would feature Ron Perlman as the hard-ass biker gang leader, the underdog of which was Mr. Klebitz. It was a tribute to the fantastic Sons of Anarchy, and one that personally made Klebitz a favourite. The DLC's combination of heavy metal hideouts and riding in formation mission starts created an air of you being an integral member of the gang in question. Although clearly Rockstar weren't as much a fan of Johnny as the rest of us, or perhaps it was entirely the opposite to make a point about Trevor, he has a rather unfitting end at the boot of one Mr. Phillips during the introduction of his character in GTA 5. Until then though, Klebitz's run through GTA 4's world offered another look at the grimy locales within, focusing entirely on the sorts of hovels and hostels biker gangs would contend with on a daily basis. Number 4. Michael DeSanta, GTA 5. In a brilliant move for the franchise, GTA 5 saw the introduction of a character with a family to take care of. However, this family are more than a little accustomed to the way the man of the house does business. Now, there are a wealth of moral quandaries to be discussed through the implication that a career criminal who has a penchant for passive-aggressive behavior has raised 2 children. In the game, his interaction with the aforementioned give way to some fantastic missions in GTA moments, one of the best being when Michael and Trevor pair up to pay a visit to the game's version of a pop idol / X Factor style show, only for the two to commandeer a large truck and run down the show's host before making him dance trouserless for their amusement. That's not to mention Michael's introduction being a fantastic reveal that he's already in the backseat of the car you're trying to steal, which then feeds him into having a showdown with the character you were waiting to be served a few knuckle smoothies anyway. Number 3. Carl C.J. Johnson, GTA San Andreas. Due to its incredible scope, evident not only in the size of the game world but also in customization options that let you deck out CJ in all manner of garb from tailored suits to bright purple hoodies and cowboy hats, San Andreas is regarded as one of the best. It was also the last installment where named actors would be used to embody the characters, as developer Rockstar decided the personalities associated with any given celebrity were taking away from the originality of their creations. CJ himself was voiced by a rapper, and with the implementation of a 2-button interactive system of responding to pedestrians and fellow crew members by way of insulting them or saying something more positive, it served to better immerse all of us in the experience. That's not to mention said rigorous customization options also allowed you to beef up CJ into a mini Hulk or pork him out into a small van-sized gangbanger, all while having a constant spiel of context-specific dialogue complementing his appearance. Number 2. Tommy Vercetti, GTA Vice City. Following the muted gesturings of GTA 3's Claude, Rockstar stepped up their game with Vice City in every way possible. Through hiring more A-list talent to provide a plethora of incredible, memorable, and hilarious side characters, Vercetti himself was voiced by none other than the old Leatherface himself, Ray Liotta. Liotta brought his career-defining mobster flair to the character in a manner that still has many remembering Vice City in the most admirable way possible. Twinned with the sun-soaked vistas of the surrounding area, exploring the cityscape and missions within was an experience that many tout as the best from the 6th generation of consoles. Taking over a Scarface-style mansion only added to the escapist thrills, and when you were forced into a gunfight across those iconic red and gold carpeted stairs with Liotta screaming expletives at his enemies, it was absolute mobster perfection. And number 1, Trevor Phillips, GTA 5. The living embodiment of pure insanity, Trevor is also the realization of over a decade of player wish fulfillment. Trevor exists as a mirror through which the vast majority of players can see their own actions represented through the game's cutscenes. Have a problem with his opening scene being that of stomping the living daylights out of another main character on this list? Tough luck, as the scene exists to display the life-wasting antics we ourselves have put upon many number of random pedestrians during our time with the franchise. Trevor's one-liners and off-the-wall mentality is almost reminiscent of the Dark Knight's Joker, in that he just does things, yet there's always some idea that part of him knows exactly what they're doing and exactly how to play the people around him. Trevor is the most divisive character Rockstar have ever created, and it's nearly all down to just throwing the rulebook out the window and portraying him in the manner that many players force their previous protagonists to be. Love him or hate him, no character has had this much attention lavished upon them so far after their initial release.
Hey guys, thanks for making it to the end of the video. Aren't you a star? Don't forget to subscribe below, and also the people who made this video, they're right here, so go and follow them and give them some love. If you want to see more content, there's probably some stuff flowing up above my head. Why not check it out? It could be fun. I'm not your dad.